RiverCiver dropped his magnum opus, which is just him saying a whole lot of nothing in a whole lot of time, 40 minutes to be exact, inside of which is proof that River is by far the worst DBD creator and it isn't even close. He spent 2 weeks on this pathetic attempt to bring down spooks. You would think in that 2 weeks, he would be doing research and gathering evidence, but there's not a shred of either to be found. None of his quote-unquote evidence actually supports any of his claims, and at some points it even outright disproves the points he's trying to make. This was supposed to be the video that destroyed Spook and Jukes, but all it did was destroy the last shred of credibility River had. He does nothing but tell lie after slanderous lie, and we're gonna go ahead and go through all of it, so you can see for yourself exactly why RiverCiver is DBD's worst content creator.
Well, here it is. Let me introduce you to Spook and Jukes. Now, in his own words, let me say,
I'm gonna warn you guys, this video will be spicy and it will be long. So grab your popcorn, buckle up, and enjoy the ride.
in my personal opinion, he's the worst DBD content creator for a number of reasons. Unlike other videos calling out bad people or the worst YouTuber in a community, I'll be going for someone who, for the most part, is widely loved and much bigger than me. That's sure to go over well, right? I'm sure you emotional robots will have some good arguments, and
yeah, we already gotta make the excuse, oh, he's bigger than me, so, you know, if you hate it, it's because he's bigger than me. Okay. We're already coping, I see.
won't just groupthink and blindly attack someone who doesn't tell you what you want to hear, or is toxically positive. So who is Spook and Jukes? Well, to explain briefly, he's been making content in the DBD space for a long time, and initially it didn't really go anywhere until he made a certain type of video. A type of video that's killed several smaller content creators in broad daylight. A type of video that's seeped into other creators and become one of the most popular forms of content in this poisonous community. But we'll get into his influence later. Nowadays, he's one of the biggest—
Oh my god, who the hell cares that he made salt content? Hell yeah, welcome in. I just gotta say, man, who gives a shit that his other content didn't go anywhere until he made salt content? What's the gotcha here? What's the point? I don't get it. This YouTuber went absolutely nowhere until he found a format that worked for him. Okay, this is breaking news. Holy shit.
figures in the community, preaching his milquetoast takes to his legions of orbiters while killing people in broad daylight and not being funny or entertaining.
Okay, he's already said killing people in broad daylight like 17 times. What is with this phrase? Like,
He has, in my opinion, the most absurdly negative impact on the community, with his content that promotes witch hunting and vilification of the underdogs in situations.
The underdog? He's referring to people that lose their mind over the game, shouting slurs and being assholes as underdogs. What kind of framing is this? You're not an underdog just because you're smaller. Like, you're not fighting the odds of Spook's toxic positivity when you're out here shouting nonsense.
To write off them for personal gain. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start with...
Oh, personality and content. Okay.
Spook and Jukes impresses me with his hypocrisy and manipulation, using any scummy tactic to punch down and using his legions of...
Punch down already? Okay, should I make a bingo card real quick? Do I need to make a bingo card? Okay, I'm gonna make a bingo card real quick, hold on. Alright, let's go.
Of droids to attack anyone he views as beneath him. And wow, that's a little dramatic, isn't it? I mean, he's just a normal white dude with a family who plays DBD.
I'm so stupid. Why didn't I put mentions race? It was right there. He can't help himself. Guys, I'm bad at bingo. I'm so bad at bingo. It was right there.
DBD is a job. Just a wholesome family guy with his wife who claims to be black, and his daughter he can show to his cesspool of weirdos on stream for them to say, oh, she's so fucking cute, bro. Yeah. I mean, look at how supportive he is. How could someone like this be the bad guy? The thing with him is, though, it's all about looking good, not doing good things. You have to learn to see right through it. His most popular types of videos are by far his hit piece videos. I mean, his other videos barely compare in views, so you gotta do what you gotta do, right? The hit piece videos are usually blatant, one-sided framings of a Dead by Daylight interaction with all relevant context removed, showing it.
I mean, that's just patently untrue, though. Yeah, why the fuck is he talking about his daughter? Like, even if it's like a throwaway point or whatever, like, that's just weird. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even listen to what he said about the daughter, because, like, that's so fucking stupid. Let's go back. Okay. So, he's pointing at Spooks' wife, is that, what, she thinks she's black or something? Like, who the f cares? What? This is such a fucking nothing point. Spooks' wife thinks she might be part black because she gets a tan. Could this not just simply be a joke? What?
Black, and his daughter he can show to his cesspool of weirdos on stream for them
And he can show his daughter to
to say, oh, she's so fucking cute, bro.
Okay, so he's not talking with the daughter there. He's just saying that Spook shows her off to look like a good person, which is so fucking stupid. That's the dumbest fucking point. What? That's like saying anybody with a pet is doing the same thing. Like, people think kids are cute. He's got a kid. She's part of his life. She's gonna show up on stream sometimes. If he's, okay with that. It's not a big deal. It's like, oh man, people show off their pets because they want to seem like good people because they have pets. It's the dumbest fucking point. Is this whole video just gonna be nothing points? I hope not.
Yeah, I mean, look at how supportive he is. How could someone like this be the bad guy? The thing with him is, though, it's all about looking good, not doing good things. You have to learn to see right through it. His most popular types of videos are by far his hit piece videos. I mean,
his hit piece videos. He means salt videos, guys. Whenever he says, oh, that's not the bingo I could have put. Whenever he says hit piece, he means salt videos. Which, who fucking cares?
his other videos barely compare in views, so you gotta do what you gotta do, right? The hit piece videos are usually blatant, one-sided framings of a Dead by Day.
Okay, also, so I have personal experience with this actually, where my salt videos massively outperform my other videos. Just because your salt videos may be your bread and butter, or it's what gets you the most views, it doesn't mean that the only reason you upload them is because your other shit doesn't do well. You can upload whatever the fuck you want. Sometimes it's going to be salt, sometimes it's not. It doesn't matter that the salt gets more views. You can still upload other shit. If it was literally just because Spooks wanted views that he uploaded salt, he would never upload anything else. He disproves his own point in the very sentence he makes it, because he's trying to insinuate that Spooks only uploads salt for the money and the views, but he's also straight up saying that Spooks also has other content. He literally disproves his point in the same sentence he makes it. Oh, disproves his own point isn't even in here. Uh-oh, we're getting cooked on bingo.
Daylight interaction.
Red Heart Jimmy, I appreciate the follow.
With all relevant context removed, showing it in a very black and white perspective and painting one side as the villain while pretending he's trying to help. He calls these videos an analysis of behavior, while putting himself on a pedestal as the holy bastion of morality and white knighting the other person, regardless of what they've done. But don't worry, in my debate with him, he plausibly denied that he was pretentious and didn't want to...
Hey! Debate buzzword, alright. Debate buzzword. So, I was there for that. Spooks didn't plausibly deny shit. He just doesn't like that he's wrong on something. Also, I'm pretty sure in most of his videos, Spooks does give context for both sides. And the context is usually, hey, this person was just playing the game and didn't even really care about the other side. And while this guy got really fucking mad and said some really dumb shit for no fucking reason. And that's usually the context. Because I guarantee you, if Spooks was actually lying about people for literal years to make salt content, people would have come forward. There is no way this would be the first time hearing of it. There's genuinely no way. So, my take, Spooks is probably showing the full context. Just because he doesn't show every little nook and cranny of the video does not mean the context is missing. The shit I did it out of my videos too, because it just doesn't contribute. So far, this is all just dumb.
Come off that way.
Go criticize everybody else for being pretentious. That doesn't make any sense.
So you're saying this,
and I don't even think I'm pretentious. I don't try to be pretentious. You admitted to being pretentious.
Yeah, it's because I'm not.
In your videos, you constantly gas yourself up and talk about how much effort, and I don't gas myself up in my videos. If anything, I talk shit about myself in my videos. I don't praise myself. I don't gas myself up.
Despite the.
Okay, he's talking about Having less of an ego to admit you're pretentious. What? Oh, shut the fuck up.
holier than thou
Also, Savage Mockery and Poe, they appreciate the follow, guys.
public executions being the most obnoxiously pretentious things in the entire community, besides my videos.
You can rage at a game without lashing out at somebody afterwards and insulting and harassing them. I know this guy doesn't understand the difference because he does go and harass people and insult them personally because he probably doesn't understand the difference between a video game and reality.
Okay, dude, he's gotta stop flashing this shit where you can't even read it. Okay, let's go back. I'm not reading it fucking 1000 WPM. Yeah, let me move the bingo card. How about right there? Make it a little bit smaller.
You can rage at a game without lashing out at some.
Okay, so he's showing a completely out of context Discord DM session where he doesn't actually show everything. Let's see. Let's read this. So, he's flashing this while Smokes is saying that you can rage at a game and not lash on other people. Alright? So to find this, we don't know what. That's unofficial debate. He agreed to debate me and said never mind. What's that called? Define it. How can you have a debate with no date set? The act of him changing his mind, that's what it's called. Changing his mind. But where's the date? Okay, so for your sake, we'll say that he didn't back out. He just changed his mind and didn't want to anymore. Whatever you want to call it. Spooks, I want a direct answer of a date set for the time that Void said I'm down. Since you said that there should be a text between you of proof that time. So why can't you show that? Why can't you answer that question? Void and I, cousin, had a debate. He changed his mind. He refused. Wait, okay, so... why is he showing this while Smooks is talking about lashing out at people? Let's take another listen real quick.
Community, besides my videos.
You can rage at a game without lashing out at some.
Okay, does he just think that nobody is going to read this? Does he think that just showing this wall of text is going to prove his point? Does he think that people are going to watch this and, oh, well, Smoogs is talking about raging and lashing out, but he put a thing on the screen, so it must be showing that Spooks is doing the opposite. Like, does he just think that nobody is going to read this? Why is this here? Why is this here? This serves no purpose. River is so stupid. He's such a moron. Why is this here?
Somebody afterwards and insulting and harassing them. I know.
Okay, this is insulting and harassing people. So, River would have a point with these thumbnails flashing, because you can easily argue that, you know, calling somebody cringe and saying they have a big ego is harassing them. So River could have a point here, and it wasn't for the fact that the people featured in his videos were doing exactly that. If you do something, people can do it right back at you. Doesn't matter if they're bigger or smaller, because why are you online doing some shit and not expecting consequences? You fucked around, somebody bigger found out about it, and then you found out. This shows nothing.
No, this guy doesn't understand the difference because he does go and harass people and insult them personally.
Okay, see, at least River admits that he harasses people. That's good. But then, if he does that, why is he criticizing Spooks? Because right now, even if Spooks is quote-unquote harassing them, the fact is those people did it first. So it's not hypocritical.
Personally, because he probably doesn't understand the difference between a video game.
Right. He defaults his points against literally everyone, where it isn't even about my gameplay. It makes absolutely no sense bringing up in context. Man, okay, how is River gonna say that gameplay has nothing to do with anything when he was roasting my gameplay on my other video? Like, that had nothing to do with it either. Shut the fuck up.
In reality, I do. So I do rage at games, and you know, and then I'll say GG and move on to the next game. I don't have to make understand the difference. Because he does go and harass people and insult them personally because he probably doesn't understand the difference between a video game and reality. I do. So I do rage.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Tell me this sounds mean, but doesn't River trying to say that Spooks is gassing himself up because he said he understands the difference between reality and a video game kind of say a lot more about River than it does about Spooks? That's not gassing yourself up. Gassing yourself up is like, man, I'm the fucking best. My cock is huge. I've got the biggest balls this side of the Ponderosa. I am undefeatable. I am 7 feet tall. with bulging biceps, and nobody is better than me. That's gassing yourself up. I understand the difference between video games and real life. It's not gassing yourself up. What is he doing with this? Dude, this video, okay, so I'm predicting it now. This video is literally nothing. Predicting it now.
At games and and then I'll say GG and move on to the next game. I don't have to make myself up. You like to personally
Wow, this editing is so good, by the way. Holy shit, this is like nobody can ever do this. River is unmatched.
attack people, and that's your thing. That's your cup of tea. That's probably why you don't like my content, and I get that. But let's not try and pretend like raging at a game and insulting someone or harassing someone or being shitty towards another human being are the same thing, because they're not. And if you can't grasp that, I'm sorry, that's a you problem.
They're all about like making fun of someone raging in a game and then being like, oh, I'd never do that, I'd never take it outside of the game, I don't take it this seriously. Except a lot of the people he makes videos on don't take it outside of the game, and they get doxxed for it anyways, provably. So for an example of that, let's look at his video.
Okay, alright. This is good, because I've been researching this. And, by the way, so he's going to try to say, I already know the argument that's coming. River is going to try to say that because Pro Vengeance did not scream the F word at the person directly, that he should not be criticized for it. But I'm going to address this right now. If you do some fuck shit online, it doesn't matter if it's to the other person directly. If you have a weird overreaction, if you do something really fucking stupid or weird or funny, when you are streaming, that stream is a public place where anyone can watch you. If they can watch you, they can talk about you. They can show your behavior off and critique it and criticize it and say whatever they want about it. They can give their opinion on it because you are doing it in a public space. Whether you are screaming the F word, whether you're throwing a controller, it does not matter, because you are doing it in a public space, which means it is open to criticism and review. Now, River's going to try to say that him just saying the F word isn't a big deal because it wasn't to them, whatever. The point is, the fact is, Pro Vengeance had a drastic overreaction, and that is why it was covered. To me personally, I'm not offended at the word, guys. Spoilers. It's the fact that he had to select that specific word because he was mad. Because he was looking for something hurtful to say because he was upset. Let's continue. I think I've already destroyed his fucking whatever he's going to say here. Well, let's continue. See what he has to say. I guarantee you it's going to be that, though.
On Pro Vengeance as a random example of a standard hit piece he would make just to lay the groundwork for what I'm going to be talking about to familiarize those who don't know much about his content. This video got well over 200,000 views and a great like ratio, and it's not even a year old, so it should be a great primary example. Great tags, by the way. You're clearly just doing this for passion and nothing else.
The YouTuber wants his work to be watched. That's so awful. Wow, you know, there's no passion behind Spooks' videos when he's trying to get people to watch them. That's crazy. How dare you try to make your video reach a wider audience? What are you doing? Come on, Spooks.
So these videos are apparently supposed to enact change, and he can hide behind that toxic positivity. So what messages did he have to console this streamer? Okay, well, he calls him sweaty despite playing fucking clown.
But it's just funny to me that he complains about people using every advantage they can get when that's all he does. When he plays Killer, he uses the sweatiest perks he can, plays in the sweatiest way possible. When he plays Survivor, he doesn't give a fuck about his teammates. He does...
Okay, guys. Guys. This text on the screen right now is a bold-faced lie. Pro sits in the corner when the game is already lost. You just conveniently cut out the parts when he went for saves, did gens, looped, etc. In the video that this is referencing, in the video that Pro himself mentions, there were 2 gens left, a lorry with 1 hook state was injured and in chase, and what was Pro doing? He was spinning around, doing absolutely nothing. No gens, no going to body block for the guy that's almost on death hook. So in this very thing, he's already lying.
The sweatiest shit possible with the sweatiest shit possible. All he does is use every advantage that he could think of to win and continue his streaks.
And then he just sticks himself in the top right corner of the video for 20 minutes straight, like a Jinx reaction cam to full unedited VOD.
Hey, look. It's the clip I was talking about. Okay, it's a little bit later, though. He finished the chase here.
Advantage that he could think
When does
of
it start?
to win and continue his streaks.
And then he just sticks.
Yeah, see, so he's sitting here. This is the clip I was talking about. Here's him. You can't tell what his hook states are, but he's full health. I'm gonna presume he's on 1 or 2. Like, you're healthy, you could probably go take a hit. You could be on a gym. You could do anything. Keep in mind, this is before the HUD update, so we can't tell the lore is on a gen.
Sticks himself in the top right corner of the video for 20 minutes straight, like a Jinx reaction cam to full unedited VODs of this random dude and mocking him over what exactly?
Okay, so I watched a couple Spooks videos. They're not just unedited VODs. He cuts around to shit. Like, it's not a point. It's not just the entire unedited game. It usually cuts between, like, the actual shit that he wants you to show you. But, you know, come to think of it. Okay, so it's either Spooks does unedited shit, right? Shows the entire VOD. Guess what? That means the entire context is there. But RiverCiver, it's not, so how does that make sense? No, Spooks does cut through to moments that are important.
Of course he did.
Of course he did. Of course he had perks to counter my shitty playstyle. Oh, I just was being so smug, gonna let my team die. Haha, have fun. They're gonna die, I don't care. And now it's fucking just tears.
Like, his whole thing is don't take it outside of the game, right? But this guy always stays in his own lane and never goes to other people's chats. He's literally just getting mad, like you do. Like we.
Okay. 1. Pro is not just getting mad like any of us do. He's sitting there raging on his screen, screaming slurs because he lost a video game, while saying everyone is soft for being offended at the words that he uses. The softest guy in the room is him. He's never been hard in his life. It's literally a lack of impulse control. He gets mad, so he uses the most hurtful word he can think of. Whether or not anyone actually cares about the word, he's still going for it because he knows it's got a negative connotation. Because he's upset. Because he lost a video game. It's f***ing sad. And he would almost have a point here if it wasn't for the fact that Pro was doing that shit out of a loss of a video game. But in the way that he shows his anger, he opens himself up to being made fun of. It is what it is.
We all do at this game. You want this guy to be harassed by your fans for this? You even try to paint him as a bad Survivor teammate for hiding in corners after the game was already lost? Like, he cuts out parts of the videos where he's actually helping the team because it fits his weird narrative to do so.
I asked Pro to send me clips of him actually doing that. Like, we had a discussion about this in the video that's coming up, where I asked him to send me anything where he actually can back up what he says about him actually, like, helping his teammate and contributing. And also about how Spooks cut context. He has yet to send me any links. So, yeah, River's full shit here.
Like, in these instances, he's just getting annoyed at the game as Survivor. He's not really doing anything, but you're gonna stick your talentless react cam in the top right and just mock him for getting mad? But didn't...
Alright, River. You talk about not including context. River talks about Spooks cutting context, not including context. Why is River not including the context of what it is that Vengeance says when he's raging? Why is that context missing? He's acting like Spooks is going after him for simply getting mad at a video game, and that's not what it is at all. Why is River excluding the context, the ever so very important context, of what it is that Pro says when he's mad at a video game?
What a bunch of faggotry. Fucking faggot ass cringe lord tricks to you. I have main event already. You're dead.
That's weird how that works. Wait, hypocrite. That's on the bingo. River is hypocritical.
You say...
The first is comparing in-game rage and tilt to what I actually make videos about, which is people taking it outside of the game and harassing people, personal insults, viewer shaming, telling people to off themselves, all of that stuff. That's what I make videos about.
That's not even mentioning the debate between the two that I'll get back to later, where Spooks cut out nearly 2/3 of the debate to make himself look.
Okay, so I sat in an absolute dog shit of the debate. You want to know what happened? Pro insulted Spooks in the first, like, 5 minutes, twice. I quote, this is a direct quote from the debate, I shit you not. I have basic human empathy, unlike you soft bitch. Huh? That might actually be paraphrasing, but I shit you not, in the same sentence. I have basic human empathy, unlike you soft bitch. The reason that the debate got cut is because so much of it was on weird religious and LGBTQ tangents that go well beyond the scope of what I cover, so I'm not going to say anything about all that, but that was a lot of the debate. It's no wonder it got cut.
Better. He doesn't do this with most debates, he didn't do it with mine, but for this one, because they were talking in circles, even though that's all.
By the way, the funniest part about the debate that they had, that he uploaded, so, Pro said that of course nobody's going to watch his side because he's smaller and Spooks is more popular. But here's the thing. The debate that is on his channel is a live stream. Live streams do not get as many views as actual uploads, even if the only difference is that you uploaded it instead of streaming it. You can look on pretty much any given channel, you will find that to be true. Live streams do not get as many views as actual videos. The second point against it is his debate with Spooks starts 1 hour and 16 minutes into the stream. 1 hour and 16 minutes that you would have to get through, or skip, to get to the actual debate. Nobody is going to do that. That will kill your metrics. Even if that was an actual upload. Why does it take 1 hour and 16 minutes to get to the point in the video? Of course nobody is watching it. You killed any way to actually engage with the content, because it's hidden behind 1 hour and 16 minutes of irrelevant gameplay. You know, I'm going to go on a slight tangent here. Pro is so bad at YouTube. He calls other people's content slop, and he asked me personally why I don't make more meaningful content, but you look at his channel, and it's a whole bunch of uncreative, absolute garbage. Not at all what you would expect from somebody saying to make more meaningful videos. It's just absolute garbage. It's like, oh, there's a 1v1 duel on Star Wars. Oh, look at my car on Forza. It's just garbage. Like, nobody's watching that. These are the last people that should ever criticize the content that other people make. Especially on the basis of being uncreative.
All we did during our debate. This is the same for a lot of his videos. These people he makes hit pieces on usually stay in their own lane and never go out of their way to harass anyone outside of the game. And he just sits there on his high horse and punches down while his fans go into the random streamer's chat and send them tons of harassment, provably. He's very, very good at...
Okay, so one, showing comments on the video does not prove that they are sending hate, provably. If people are commenting on the video that Spooks made, whatever hate might be there is confined within the video. So they're not provably sending hate. That doesn't prove anything. He needs to show DMs or tweets or whatever directly addressing that. If he doesn't, that's not proof, because that is a YouTube comment section. Like, he has literally not shown one usable point to support his claims against Spooks at all yet. I'm convinced, dude. River's a clout goblin with no shame. What a garbage person. Holy. He says that these people do nothing and stay in their own lane. I think I'm going to do a fun little experiment where I'm going to go through a couple of just random Spooks videos and we're going to see if they harassed anyone at all. We'll see. See, I will actually show my claims, unlike River. I will actually do my research, unlike River. I'm going to go through Spooks' channel. We're going to take a tally of how many people keep it in-game and how many people go out of game. By the way, fun fact, Shore, which is another one of River's best friends, takes it out of game. Just for the record. Let's continue.
Manipulation and controlling the narrative. It just shows you, like, how much of a snake he is, sort of. I've experienced this firsthand from...
Sort of. It shows you how much of a snake he is, sort of. Okay.
His slaves as proof, but we'll get to that when we get to that. In his Matthew Santoro video, one of the major points he made is that it's wrong for a big creator like Matthew Santoro to show someone's Twitch on stream and send his fans to harass them. But isn't that like exactly what is...
He's trying to say that Spooks says it's bad to show people on stream, and then he's using these videos as proof. I guarantee you, in pretty much every single one of these, I'm not even gonna fact check myself on this one. Guarantee you, these people are all censored. What's the over-under on every single one of these being censored? Somebody, you know what? River likes to use the term slave. Somebody be a good slave for me one day and just go look through these for me. Get back to me on that.
Main form of content is, but far worse. Like, he dedicates entire videos to ripping people to shreds because they got angry in a video game. I mean, I get it, salt content is funny, but making these dedicated hit pieces on a single person who's far smaller than him and sending your legions of
Oh, there's punching down again. So, River needs to understand. I'm gonna say this right now, because he just mentioned that Spooks is, attacking people smaller than him, and, murdering them in broad daylight. If you do something online, in public, it does not matter if you are bigger or smaller than everyone else. Anyone that sees it can comment on it. They can critique you, they can criticize you, and they can state their opinion on whatever it is that you do in a public space. Someone being smaller than someone else is not a reason for them to not be covered. I hate this point so much, man, because this is day one of the internet. If you do something online, people can see it, and they can talk about it. That is why you do not do dumb shit on the internet, because guess what? It is there forever. That is why that is a saying. If you don't want people to quote-unquote come after you for doing dumb shit, don't do dumb shit. It is that simple.
Brainless zombies to mass dislike and attack them seems a little hypocritical. And listen, calm down, okay? Are you okay? I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, but he hides the names, though. No one can ever find them. They won't be harassed. This has never been the case.
Alright, Spooks himself said that he was not gonna hide River's identity, because why would he? River is literally a very public figure in the DBD space who called out other YouTubers very publicly. Why on earth would he be censored? This is a non-point. He's using himself as an example that Spooks doesn't censor people when he went after everyone and everyone knows. Why would he censor him? There's no point.
I understand that I'm fairly involved in the DBD community, but I've been able to figure out basically everyone he's made a video on with minimal research, and the hiding the names is just a way to cover his own ass. His audience always puts their names in the comments too, which I know he can't fully control, but if he didn't make a video in the first place, there wouldn't be any harassment for these small...
Hey, Spooks, Spooks, I know that these people did something really bad and really stupid, and they made an ass of themselves online, but, you're actually the bad guy here for making a video on them. Why are you letting people know that these people are assholes? I think you're actually the bigger asshole for bringing attention to them being assholes. How dare you? It's so stupid, because Spooks cannot be held responsible for the harassment that goes their way, and he takes every precaution he can to hide their identity, which is more than a lot of people do. I do not hide people's names, because A, I don't give a f***. You do some shit online, you get yourself one of my videos, I do not give a f***ing shit about concealing your identity, because guess what? You chose to do that shit online to me in my public stream. So that means you are consenting to your name going everywhere that it's going to go. But Spooks takes every precaution to hide them. It is not his fault that people find these people. And plus, by the way, the reason I stopped censoring names in my videos is because half the time, they would just out themselves in my comments anyway. I would take however long it took to censor their names, and they would be like, "Hi, I'm actually the streamer in this video, haha, thanks for the free publicity." Fun fact, that is why I don't censor.
smaller content creators. No creator can fully control their fans, but you can control where you send your fans. In the video he made on me, he has my name in the tags. He also just cannot seem to make up his mind if he hides the names to stop people from getting harassed, or if he hides them because they want it. Many of the smaller channels he made videos on were extremely unprepared for a huge channel like him to just put them on blast.
He would have a point if these smaller channels weren't being dickheads. And if he can prove that they weren't being dickheads, then he has a point. But he hasn't proven that. He's just saying that these smaller channels were not prepared to be put on blast. Okay, well, hey, doesn't matter your size. Don't be an asshole. It won't happen. And it's that simple.
For literally nothing. And look, I know this isn't only what he's known for, but they are by far the biggest them on blast for literally nothing.
So this is the short video where he was calling mystical threats like a cunt and talking about OnlyFans farts and all that shit. Yeah, like he even went into our chat. But yeah, no, he was doing nothing. Uh-huh. He was doing nothing. Yep, absolutely.
Nothing. And look, I know this isn't only what he's known for, but they are by far the biggest videos on his channel, and it's not even close. He won't stop making them because he has to support a stay-at-home wife, 2 kids, Tyrone, and...
Okay. Where does Tyrone come from? By the way, Spook's wife, not that fat. What kind of framing narrative is this? So, I'm curious where the Tyrone thing comes from, because he keeps mentioning that. Does River have a cuck fetish? Like, does River want to be the man in the corner watching Tyrone? Is that what this is about? Or is he just jealous that Spooks has a wife and kids? He's living the literal dream. I'm pretty sure River has a cuck fetish. That's the only excuse for him constantly mentioning that. River is so desperate to get anything on Spooks he can that he's imagining this cuck scenario. Well, Spooks has a wife and he's got kids and he only streams for 35 hours a week and he supports them all. Well, I guess, you know, there's gotta be some black guy just f***ing the shit out of his wife, I guess. I mean, that's the only way that myself, RiverCiver, can cope with the fact that Spooks is doing well for himself. Dude, he's so jealous, it's insane. This is just him being purely jealous and hateful for no fucking reason. Because, like, if we're going on the basis that he has all this vitriol for Spooks because of all the shit he said so far, he has made no good points at all. It's just pure vitriol. That's it. He's a hateful, spiteful little dipshit. It's sad. It's so fucking sad.
And Scott Jund. In all seriousness, supporting a family off this content might be why he's getting so desperate, and why he started...
Okay. Okay. So, if you make content that is successful and you continue to make that style of content, you're desperate, that's not how that works. That's not how that works at all. Well, you know, Spooks found the niche, and he makes stuff in that niche, and he makes money off it, so he must be desperate to make money if he continues to make that content. Okay, I mean, I guess you're fucking desperate to have a job every time you go into work. Like, what kind of a point is this? What kind of a point is this? He keeps making these claims, and he has no possible way to prove. He literally cannot prove a single word of this. He's so desperate to take Spooks down, and he's completely flopping.
Attacking me and Angry Pug in an 801-minute video of slop, making a...
Alright, so, real quick. His issue with these 801-minute videos is that they're just long enough for ad revenue. Nobody actually cares if the YouTuber that does it for a job is going to try to get his ad revenue. It's part of the game. Of course you're going to want to get paid for the content you make, if that option is available. It is not a point against anyone that does that. The funny thing is, River is saying this while he has a 12-minute video talking about cancel culture vultures, where he has Dr. Disrespect on the thumbnail, self-admittedly, to get more clicks. Dr. Disrespect appears in that video for a grand total of 20 seconds. That is less than 2% of the video. He cannot talk about trying to just get ad revenue when he tries to get clicks, using pretty much irrelevant people in his thumbnail. He's got Mudahar on there too, and I'm pretty sure he didn't even appear in that video. River's kind of a fucking giant, idiotic hypocrite. What a fucking idiot. Also, he did say toxic positivity, I missed it.
A video barely over 8 minutes long allows you to spam it with ads, by the way, which is exactly what he does. It's not talented at all, though. I'm being serious when I say that anyone could make shit like this. There's a reason why he got so mad at me calling out slop content in my videos. All he has to do is get someone else's VOD, which he doesn't even have to find, since his fans will send him some of the toxic interactions they get, which in reality are just random people getting mad at a game that everyone, including him, has gotten mad at before. These people he publicly slanders.
Alright, as we've already said, there is a big difference between the way that Spooks gets mad and the way that the people he covers gets mad. That's all.
Are almost always below him, and pretty much nothing is accomplished after the video, besides him getting money, despite the fact that he acts as a moral warrior and he's trying to help everyone.
Talk about a situation. Talk about why I think the behavior is excessive or bad, and then put the spotlight on the person who was harassed, and that I thought I was doing good, and I don't think that I'm not doing good.
People don't change after these videos are made on them. In fact, they just tend to get emboldened. No one wins after these except for him. They either get.
Alright, that's a straight up lie. The people that don't change were always going to be dick shits anyway. No video was ever going to make them stop. No anything was ever going to make them stop. You were never going to get them to stop being assholes. But there are people that do change as a result of the videos. Sometimes it's the people you cover. Usually it's the people watching that realize, wait a minute, there's a lot of similarities between me and the person in this video. I need to take a step back and think about the way that I'm acting. I've had a few people in my own community say as much to me. Whenever I'm streaming, they're like, hey, you know what, your videos kind of helped me see some similarities and some shit, and you know what, I just want to thank you for making these videos, because now I realized I was being an asshole. Change does happen. It's not usually going to be the person involved directly. Bonus points if it is. It's great when people like that can actually, do a little bit of introspection and, change. But the sad reality is they're usually tied too much to their ego that they cannot accept change. So they keep going on talking about how they're the victim and they were done wrong when they were the ones being assholes and got called out for it. But yes, people do, as a result of these videos, change for the better. I've seen it myself. Spooks has said that he's seen it himself. I'm sure anyone else that makes this kind of content has seen it for themselves.
Harassed by his legions of parasocial orbiters because finding these people is not a hard thing to do, or they just get more attention and views for baiting people, which is hilarious. Look at Matthew Santoro, for example. Spook and Jukes made a video on him a few years ago about how he rages at the game and blah blah blah. Then for the next 2 years, he was just cool with him, like they were just good friends and they swift together and shit, despite Matthew Santoro being such an unbearable man-child and like pulling up people.
Okay, this is the most disingenuous part of the video so far. What happened was Spooks covered Matthew. Matthew reached out and apologized, and then after that they were cool because Spooks thought, okay, he's changed, it's fine now. Like, pretty much everyone that knows about Matthew at that point thought he was a better person from that point onward. Turns out, later on, gets revealed, he's still a complete asshole. So Spooks did a 180, and it's without him. This is insanely disingenuous. Here he goes, leaving out context again. The way he frames this is that Spooks is just like, oh, Matthew was an asshole, but now I'm going to be his friend anyway. He's leaving out the context. He's just straight up leaving out context. He's trying to character assassinate Spooks right now, because he has no actual points. Also, River is the last person to talk about man-children when he is outright defending Pro-Vengeance, who over losing a video game, raged out, and started shouting slurs because he has literally no impulse control or emotional awareness. But no, everyone else is the man-child. Sure.
People's profiles. He was just cool with him because he faked an apology to the point where he deleted the video. You think for what his content stands for, he would never associate with someone who's done stuff like that, but it just doesn't matter to him. He pretends like he cares, but he doesn't. Matthew not changing and putting on a mask shows you that these analysis of behavior videos don't really help anyone. Like, no one gets reformed and nothing positive happens for anyone but him. And he only recently came back to disown him, not because he cares, but because it would make him look bad to support such a toxic individual, despite people.
Okay, how does he know that Spooks doesn't care? How does he know at all? You cannot prove that. It's a nothing claim. It is a straight up nothing claim. You cannot prove that, so why say it? Also, that's part of wearing a mask, is that people can't tell that you're wearing a mask, right? Matthew put off this image that he had changed. It is not Spooks' fault that he fell for it. Like, some people are really good at lying. It wasn't just Spooks that fell for that lie. I didn't keep up with the situation too closely, but one of my viewers has told me that, she watched him, And she thought he changed, and then turns out, nope, still an asshole. Spooks is not the only person that was fooled by that mask, and as soon as it came off, he immediately cut that contact and went back on all the shit he said about Matthew changing. This is a non-point. It's just pure character assassination.
Telling you about this for years after you privated the video. I mentioned before that he cut out parts of Pro Vengeance's streams to make him look like a bad Survivor teammate, but he actually does this a lot. Editing is a powerful tool, trust me.
Hey, it's Dr. Disrespect again. Dr. D, let's fucking go.
And cutting out important context to make yourself look better is smart, just very, very slimy.
Wait, let's read that again.
Important context to make yourself look better is smart, just...
Even though he sucks in editing and has no talent, any moron with an editing software can shape a narrative and leave out key points. You know, it's kind of crazy he says that, because that's exactly what he has done for this entire video so far. Yep, damn, it's too bad hypocrite doesn't count multiple times, because that's literally what he does.
Very, very slimy. His content in general is all about vilifying one side of a situation and showing it in a completely black and white perspective for his brain-dead audience. Like Dora the Explorer saying, this side is good, this side is bad. Go kill and harass them. He
sorry for fake laughing. Sorry for fake laughing. Go kill and harass them? Why are we hyperbolizing so hard?
He loves to drama farm and write off other people's controversies, but barely gets into any of his own because he's never really had a hot take in his...
Okay. This does not even matter at all, but I will say, saying DBD is killer-sided, saying crutch perks don't exist, those are kind of hot takes, I think. I think it's pretty well accepted that that DBD is swift-sided, which makes it survivor-sided, and that, you know, D-Strike, Dead Hard, OTR, that's all crutch perks. Unbreakable, like, I think it's pretty well accepted and established that those are the takes. So yeah, I would say at least two of those. Kind of hot takes.
Life that isn't I like Noed. He just tells everyone what they want to hear, so he's never been used to criticism in his life. There is a reason why his fanbase are such emotional skin puppets, but
it is so funny that River says Spooks has never had to deal with criticism and is unaccustomed to it. Because every single thing you say against River results in him saying, you're just a robot, you're obsessed, you're just dumb, you're thinking in black and white, you're a brobot. He is literally incapable of taking criticism. I know firsthand that he cannot handle criticism.
I'll get to them later. It's because he's a yes man filtering himself and appealing to the lowest common denominator of drama slop viewers. He always knows how to edit around situations in subtle ways to paint the narrative. Like when he cut out 2/3 of the Pro Vengeance debate when he was actually making good points.
Yeah, no. Pro made not a single good point in that debate. Guaranteed. I watched the whole fucking thing. I'm not gonna go into it. He did not make a single good point. Pro is an actual moron. His only debate tactic is to insult you and talk over you, and to change topics until he can maybe find something that he can weasel into a victory by his standards.
Or when he claimed that Void Totos ducked the debate with him after there was an actual fire in his apartment. What's funny about that debate is his butt buddy Rapid Main was like waiting around the corner to ambush him and like join the call during the debate.
Because, like I said, Spook said he would add me to the call so I could give the dude a piece of my mind and roast him at the end of it, as long as he doesn't run away.
Oh, he just disproved his own point with that clip he used. Wow, Rapid Main was waiting in ambush. Spooks is gonna let Rapid Main ambush him. Rapid Main himself says Spooks is gonna let him in call at the end of it. It is not an ambush if it is at the end, when the debate is over. You can argue that it's scummy, you can argue that it's dumb, you can argue it's mean-spirited, but you cannot say it's an ambush. His own clip disproves what he is trying to say. When I tell you that RiverCiver is an actual idiot with no brain, look to this clip for proof. Rapid Main is going to ambush Void Totos. Rapid Main himself, well, you know, he was going to add me at the end. Did you really not have a better clip? Do you think nobody is going to listen to this shit? River is such an idiot. He's so dumb. This was his big video. Guys, this was the big video that he spent weeks working on. This is it. This is his magnum opus. this. You know, it's a good thing that River is the god of editing and nobody can match him in that, because wow, does he not do research. And he sucks at constructing his own narrative, because he can't even select clips that back his points. He's just so stupid.
Which I assume he will, but in the chance that he doesn't.
I wouldn't blame him for running away when Spooks is going to jump scare him with an emotional man-child with no original thoughts in his head when he starts losing the debate, forcing him into an unwinnable 2v1 without telling him beforehand it's embarrassing. Okay, hey, cool. I'm going to make sure to remember this part of his video at 11:48, because he's saying that a 2v1 is unwinnable, because I had my own debate with Pro Vengeance, River, and some clown, and then 2 others were there kind of chilling. And then River sat here and had the audacity to say that they won the debate, but hey, 2v1's unwinnable? What's 3v1? What's 4v1? What's 5v1? Unwinnable. I guess I don't have to feel ashamed about taking a big fat loss, according to them. That's good to know. Anyway.
Be funny. It would be funny.
And I mentioned this, and he denied it, because it never happened.
Oh my god. Underdog again. Underdog. Punching down. What does this even have to do with anything? Wow. Your audience is 10 times bigger than mine, so nothing matters. If nothing matters, why are you making a hit piece on Spooks? If his audience is so much bigger, if you're so scared of the Spooks and Jukes boogeyman audience coming to kill you, why are you even making a video? Why didn't you just shut the f up?
Happen because the debate didn't happen, but he was still going to do this. It's hilarious. He was so insecure, he's just going to have his little brother jump in when he starts losing the argument. He's always able to paint the picture to make himself look like the righteous one, and will virtue signal and pander every chance he...
Man, oh, okay. Guys, Spooks is pandering. Spooks is pandering, oh god. He's supporting people, he's so bad, oh no. What a panderer, oh god.
Gets, and none of his fans will see through it. Whenever he does get into minor controversies because he actually said something he truly believes in, he'll either misconstrue what actually...
He didn't misconstrue that, by the way. People jumped down his f***ing throat for saying he didn't like the PTB.
happened and paint his narrative as he always does, or he'll just backpedal and pretend he didn't believe in it, and everything will be left as it should be because he's not used to facing actual criticism. Take that small...
Okay, no. He is using this right here. This is not proving his point. He's trying to use this tweet as Spooks backpedaling on the PTB being shit. This tweet is ironic.
What the fuck? Like, what is that? What is that? What was that? It showed the, what the?
Dude, this is how disingenuous River is. He literally has access to this tweet. He's watched at least some of it, and he's trying to frame it as Spooks backpedaling, when the entire point of this tweet is being sarcastic, calling it a good PTB when it was full of bugs. It's not backpedaling at all. River is so bad at this. He thinks people are just going to take this at face value, and I'm sure his fans are, but anyone with a brain that remembers this knows it was sarcasm. He's trying to frame Spooks as bad as he can, and the only way he can do that is to lie. So he's taking this tweet that on its surface would support his claim until you dig just a little bit deeper and understand that this is sarcasm.
Didn't believe in it, and everything will be left as it should be because he's not used to facing actual criticism. Take that small Kaneki situation, for example, where he posted a tweet complaining about the PTB, and people were actually against him for once and making good arguments against his crying, and he pulled out the "I was just joking, bro." Just watch this video by Motherwell, and it shows how he actually acts when things don't go his way, and he gets a taste, just a little taste, of the types of things he does to other people. The people he makes videos on almost always get harassment and will sometimes even quit the game afterwards. See this video for more information. But you gotta get that paycheck in a dog-eat-dog world, I guess. He's not gonna stop due to his ego either.
If River has access to that video that shows that Spooks makes people quit, why doesn't he explain how? Why do I need to do outside reading on my own time to know how Spooks makes people quit? Why can't he just back the claim in the video? That's how this works. You make your point, you back it, and then you say, if you want the full context, watch the video. But you have to actually back your claim in your video. You can't just make an outrageous claim and then say, okay, but watch this to prove my point. That is not how this works.
The only thing that could possibly make him stop is a bigger content creator calling him out, which will never happen because these creators don't get big by speaking their mind. They get big by pandering and spamming out vault speed build. He tries.
Why is he using hens as an example of people that pander, when hens literally has a tweet saying how overpowered syringes that he caught a shit ton of backlash for? No, but guys, hens panders.
Making other content, but it goes absolutely nowhere because he's not funny, entertaining, or good at the game, and he's only popular off these scummy snake videos. He even made a video a couple years back saying he would try to be more positive and cut down on making the toxic TTV content, and he tried for a little.
I think it's better if these videos are made more occasionally, if that makes sense. And I hope you guys are cool with that. If you're not, you can unsubscribe, and I don't blame you, because if you're here because you want to see 1 to 2 salty TTV videos a week, I just don't want to do that anymore.
But when you're a full-time YouTuber and have no talent outside of drama farming, and this is all you can do, it won't work out to pay that rent. I mean, you can see. Eventually, he just gave up and started punching down again. And despite leaping...
Well, it is crazy that someone can change their mind. Okay.
In every possible opportunity for drama, he didn't cover the drama with Otsdarva and Aventic, or Nina, which kind of came across as strange to me, that the biggest DBD drama channel wouldn't make a video on such a serious and huge situation, when he's hurt so many smaller creators and even ones I've personally met and talked to recently over nothing. But then I remembered Otsdarva is actually bigger than him, so he wouldn't be stepping on ants for a change, and it's probably not worth it. Gotta milk those 801-minute videos and smaller targets.
If River is so concerned about Nina essaying someone, why is he not the one covering it? Why is he wasting his time on Drama Slop covering Spooks and Scott Jund making bad content and not editing their videos enough? He is more than capable of covering what happened with Nina or even what happened with Scott and True, but he doesn't, because he does not care. It's just an easy gotcha, because all he cares about is demonizing Spooks.
Targets, it seems. And let me just be serious for a second. Unlike a lot of these huge cancel culture, like this guy's the worst YouTuber videos, he's not like a terrible guy. I've talked to him and he seems fine. It's just this content's like just poison. There's no huge scandal. He hasn't like, you know, texted a minor or something, but you gotta stop at some point. This is awful. Like, he's an alright guy.
Yo, all...
Okay. What was he gonna say? That Spook shouldn't make his content? Well, he's been doing nothing but making content on Spooks. Like, shut up.
All drama aside, hope you boys are doing well. I am gonna continue.
Yeah, you too.
Running Dark Souls here if that's cool with you guys.
I haven't played
Very
Dark
good.
Souls.
I'm gonna
too,
mute
man,
so you guys can have the floor, so there's no interruption.
Dark Souls what? Wait, what'd you say, River?
I haven't played Dark Souls, the first one. I'm just an Elden Ring scrub.
Criminal.
Played,
Oh, dude, Dark Souls 1 is great.
I got it, man. I have Dark Souls 3 on
So
Steam.
good.
I got it on sale, but I've never played
Highly
it.
recommend.
I'm a new gen.
Look at us coming together over Souls games. See, we can find common ground.
Okay, anyways, yeah, you guys have some stuff to talk about, so we'll just leave you with it. But he's gonna keep making this stuff for the foreseeable future, and he isn't gonna stop because it's all he knows how to do, and his fan base loves it, because they're just a hive mind of unemployed, drama-hungry losers. Speaking of which...
Yeah, wow. Let's criticize a YouTuber for making something his fans like. That is wild.
Regardless of whether or not you like his content or personality, even some of his dick suckers have to admit that he has by far the worst fan base of any DBD YouTuber, and it's not even close. I've experienced it firsthand myself. His fan base tends to be the types who just live on Twitter and love this type of drama and love—
Hey, that's me. That's me.
Love the negative interaction and love dogpiling on people. You know the type of person I mean. And it's not a surprise for basically the biggest DVD drama channel with such an influence on all these slaves. It makes sense that they'd be the types of miserable, terminally online goblins. When I had my little nothing drama with him, which I will get into later, he basically just made his few little hit pieces, chewed me up, and spat me out like everyone else. And his fan base came in droves to send me harassment and the death threats. You know, the usual. They were sending the most copy-paste, uninteresting, black and white comments while punching down with no real argument. Despite the legions of fanboys telling me, "You got cooked, bro," which
one of those comments says they're not a Spooks fanboy. He has to prove that these people are part of the Spooks community. Otherwise, his point means nothing.
which happens to basically anyone he makes a slander piece on, they could never tell me why or how I actually lost and failed to make good arguments.
I have an entire 46-minute video telling him how he lost, by the way.
Because they're incredibly emotional and parasocial. But like I said, we'll get into that later. And trust me, I get it. I know the plausible deniability argument that he and his fans will use. No creator has full control over his fans, but you do have full control over where you send them. Making a video cutting out important context and painting an incredibly black and white picture to defame and smear me will make some of these losers want to go and harass me. It's not like they just come out of nowhere, especially with a fan base like this of group thinking sheep with no original thoughts in their head. They're going to do it, and you can't just pull the plausible deniability every time, since you've defamed dozens of people at this point, and this is all you're known for, and this happens every single time. He really was the pioneer of DBD toxic Twitch streamer does this videos, and you can tell he knows that because he spams his tags with them even when it's not relevant to the video at all. Other people in his bubble, like his butt buddy Scott Junn, just live off slander. I called him out briefly in a few videos, and instead of providing actual good arguments against me, because his brain has been fried from sitting in a room with dirty laundry and sweatpants for the past decade and telling people what they want to hear in a text-to-speech voice reading off patch notes, he just slanders me in the top comment of Spook's video saying that I got destroyed, which he doesn't tell me how because they never do, thinking is hard, and that I ducked a debate with him, and that I deleted his comments. All of this is factually untrue, but they don't care. Spooks will hard it and pin it, and their entire personalities are built off punching down at a much smaller creator, making valid points with slander, because for someone as terminally online as him, he doesn't know somehow that YouTube will auto-filter comments all the time. This was my last comment to him in a thread, by the way, but Scott Junn likes slander, and he's all about that, so I'm not surprised he'd do this instead of making a good point. These are the people he surrounds himself with. Spooks, Scott Junn, and Rapidman are sort of like always on each other's asses and they can do no wrong. Regardless of who makes a good point, they'll never hear it. It's hilarious, but his fans don't care about doing their own research on stuff like this.
The irony of River being the one to say that people can make good points and someone will never hear it, and talking about how nobody does research is insane. Because River literally refuses to hear a point that disagrees with anything he says, and does not do actual research, as we have seen in this video.
Because they just want to join in on the dog pile regardless of evidence because they're miserable. I wouldn't mind it if it was constructive, but this is just kind of cringe. It's the most emotional group thinking way of going about this, and no one has proven me wrong. But I mentioned his influence too. Other creators kind of started copying him and following around in his footsteps afterwards, like his little brother vying for approval Rapidman, and his alcoholic unemployed brother who left the family, Aaron Duke. As I mentioned in the DBD community video, it's even rubbed off on other creators like Skyfaction and Choi to make hit piece videos framing someone as the bad guy while cutting out important context of both sides being toxic in the situation, like endgame chats or the other person's perspective.
I'm so sick of him saying people do things without giving proof. If you say somebody does something, please actually give proof. Otherwise, you're just saying nonsense. You're not accomplishing anything.
As was the case with Pro Vengeance, where they didn't show the endgame chats and just painted him as the villain. And these narratives are genuine.
In Pro's case specifically, he was shouting obscenities before the endgame chat ever started. So if people were toxic to him, it kinda does not matter. Because he was shouting his shit, which was the point of the video, before EGC happened.
Genuinely dangerous. Choi's video on Titan of the Mind got his
And by the way, according to River and Pro themselves, EGC doesn't matter. It isn't worth being upset over, because it's not real. So even if EGC was the catalyst, why was he even mad about it? Because to them, it doesn't matter.
robots to mass report Titan's DBD account and got his account banned for a month when he didn't break the rules. It was right after he made the video. It's not a coincidence, but it's all about analyzing behavior, right? Spook's video on One Letter Shore provably got his PlayStation account.
His best argument is that it correlates with interacting with Spooks, but how can he prove that Spooks mods reported him? And that's why he got banned. He can't. This isn't proof. By the way, with the MDT thing, he absolutely was violating some rules at least, because of how he was acting. So I would not be surprised if he got a ban for that. And it would be justified. The second one, he has to actually prove that it was Spooks mods that did it. And he also, we conveniently don't know what he was reported for. We know that it was offensive content, which he did. Hate speech or hateful content. I'm thinking that it wasn't because Spooks mods banned him. They reported him and banned him. I'm thinking one letter short did some dumb shit that is against TOS, and people reported him. Because you do not get banned for nothing. He did something, and he's trying to use Spooks as a scapegoat.
Account banned like days after the video came out because of the mass reporting. This is not a coincidence, but it's all about analyzing the behavior, right? Spooks Debate on Pro Vengeance got his moderator doxxed just for being the guy's moderator, like 3 days after the debate, but it's all about analyzing behavior, right? Like, you can't just keep pretending this shit doesn't happen.
Yeah, somebody making a video does not get you doxxed. Somebody being a freak with nothing better to do and wanting to harm you gets you doxxed. It's not Smook's fault that someone got doxxed.
This type of content is seeped into all the community and heightened the cancel culture and one-sided views since Spookinjukes is such a prominent figure nowadays. His fans are also the ones who instigate situations and then cut out the context and play the victim.
Obviously, Spooks is gonna watch both POVs. It's not gonna be just one person. This is so nonsensical. You can watch any Spooks video, and you can blatantly see that this is false.
And then send him the clip of the toxic streamers, as we saw with Miss Dual Threat, sending him the evidence of one letter short harassing her, which was so incredibly nothing because everything was kept inside the game. He was just making fun of a clearly vapid streamer, but I guess he deserves getting his account banned for that. The date's
Sure, roasting someone on Twitch while he's live, saying some really dumb shit, means he shouldn't be subject to their TOS. Just because he didn't say it directly to her, doesn't mean he shouldn't get banned. Because he's doing that on his stream, and even while interacting with her. Just don't say dumb shit about other people. Keep your mouth shut. Not that hard.
lining up are just too convenient, but this is what a mob mentality does to people. He can't just keep pretending these aren't his fans. The guy who doxed Pro Vengeance's mod is provably in the Spooks fan base because the Twitter account was linked to someone defending him for saying the N-word. I truly believe these types of pretentious videos started with him, and these lolcows who make them don't believe what they're doing at all. They just know it will work from how much this community loves dogpiling on people with no evidence. You can see how butthurt these people get when they're actually criticized.
The guy that has had no good evidence is talking about how people have no good evidence. That's interesting.
Are get a taste of their own medicine because they're not used to the slightest bit of backlash while playing Holier Than Thou. I mean, you saw how triggered Spook and Hairline got when I made fun of his content for 30 seconds in a 20-minute video on the community in general, right? So let me paint you a picture. Say there's a 40k subscriber YouTube channel, but all the subscribers are from stuff he did before. And after being on and off and inactive for a while, he decides, hey, I like this game a lot, I've been playing it for a while, and the content is really bad overall. Maybe I could find a niche? A few videos later, he's around 42k, so basically 2,000 from Dead by Daylight, and he hasn't even been making stuff for a month yet. He makes an incredibly harsh and critical video on why he doesn't like the DBD community.
It is astounding that someone on YouTube does not understand the concept of social proof. The larger you are, regardless of how active the subs are, makes it easier to grow, because it shows that you are worth subscribing to, because people subscribe to you. The bigger you are, the easier it is to grow. Doesn't matter if they aren't active.
Community in general, dedicating one of the 3 segments in the video to calling out content creators, and dedicating one of the 5 segments of that segment to briefly talking about Spook and Jukes and similar creators for about 30 seconds. In turn, this absolute man-child who cannot take and is not used to receiving criticism, especially constructive criticism, makes his 8-minute hit piece on a much smaller and newer creator based on a brief call-out in a 20-minute video that wasn't even remotely about.
I talked about you, so you're gonna talk about me. You can't do that because I'm smaller than you. Only I can talk about you because I'm smaller.
Him, dedicating the entire video to strawmanning his channel with a bunch of no-you arguments and painting a narrative of slander and misinformation. Surely someone like this could never be the bad guy, right? And yes, it is hilarious for someone like this whose main argument is calling people offended. Like, he literally says I was offended by bad content, like it's just criticism.
Mother You are so offended by every form of Dead by Daylight content that you had to make an entire video about it and whine about each individual type of content. I don't like gameplay. I don't like discussion. Wah. There's too much drama. Dude, you're fucking whining about everything. Who is the offended one here?
It's funny, this guy got so butthurt over a 30-second call-out in a 20-minute video that he shot out a video that's barely over 8 minutes long.
Okay, using River's own words. Spooks wasn't butthurt over it. He was criticizing it. Why does it apply to River and nobody else? If you see somebody talk about your content, doesn't matter how short it is, or if it's the point of the video, you can make a video to criticize every other content that person does. Because by addressing you directly, they open the floodgates for you to check out their content and to criticize it. They criticize you, and you can criticize them. That is how it works. If you didn't want to be criticized, you should not have made any video on spooks. You shouldn't have put anything about them in your video. But you did, so he can criticize you. Cry about it.
For more mid-roll ads, by the way, and got his legions of droids to attack me with lame and unconstructive arguments. This is what people call instigating, by the way, on my end. Critical thinking.
I don't know how many times we keep having to tell you, but it is not instigating if it is a response to something that you did. You are the instigator in this scenario.
Thinking is hard when you have an intrinsic bias and you're this emotional and parasocial for someone who doesn't even know you exist, by the way. But hey, honestly, receiving the Spook and Jukes harassment treatment was fine for a number of reasons. Number one, I'm a YouTuber, not a streamer. Nearly every one of these brain-dead comments with no arguments and further hit piece videos from his fanboys is free engagement and free money for me, which is a nice bonus as well as being proven right.
One exciting moment to the next. And then there's the folks you might just watch for the personality and some of their hot takes.
Number two is that these people are so irrational and stupid, it's fun to argue with them, at least for a little. It's like a power fantasy for me knowing that even though I'm the underdog with so many people coming from a 100 times bigger channel over a 30-second call-out that none of them are actually able to prove me wrong.
River actually thinks he wins arguments. That's pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie.
And it's fun to fuck with them. The number three reason why I don't really care is because I do have thicker skin than a lot of people he targets. I'm not scared of the things that you guys are scared of because you're eternally online. I'm not scared of being canceled or ratioed when no one is able to prove my points wrong because I speak the truth and don't filter myself like they do.
Look, you can speak your truth and say whatever you want, and ooh, you're so tough for not being scared of being canceled, but at the end of the day, you're a fucking moron. You've been proving it time and time again, and pretty much anyone you speak to proves you wrong on pretty much every point you make, because every single criticism you have to anyone else you have ever talked about literally applies to you. Every single thing he's mad about applies to him and his friends. It is insane that he is this delusional. Absolutely insane.
I'm not scared of getting dislike bombed for not making safe, unchallenging, predictable content like the stuff that you watch. You cannot scare me off with your mob of worshippers fueled by slander. It would terrify you though, but I can handle it. I'm here to stay and I'm just getting started despite you trying to kill me so early on. Those are the reasons why his hit piece video and the backlash afterwards did not scare me off. But in the eternal words of Matthew Santoro.
One thing I can say to you guys is, before you make an entire YouTube video on somebody, maybe have some compassion. I'm not saying like don't call them out, but maybe have some compassion for, because you don't know what somebody's going through.
Okay. I hate the argument or the statement from the people that get covered in these videos being, well, you know, you should really maybe not make videos on people that fuck up because you never know what they're going through. Because they never extend that compassion to the people they're being assholes to. If someone should not make a video on you for being an asshole, because you don't know what they might be going through that made them an asshole, you should have the self-awareness to not be an asshole to other people randomly, because you also do not know what they are going through. It is so strange how this logic only ever applies to people experiencing the consequences of their own actions. Never is this extended to the person that gets shit on by someone for no reason. It's always, well, you know, yeah, you're exposing someone's bad behavior, but, you know, you need to go easy on them because you never know what they might be going through. Why does that never apply to the people these idiots go after? Because they're selfish pieces of shit that only care about themselves and the action and the consequences of their actions when they happen to them. Oh, it's fine to rape, but oh shit, when it's time to sew, ooh, that's bad. Can't have that. Oh, please take pity on me. You don't know what I was going through. What about what the people you were being shitheads to were going through? What about that? Like, shut up.
And, you don't know how close somebody is to the edge.
It's so ironic, isn't it? For someone who preaches to treat others kindly and keep everything in the game, yet his main form of content is putting random people on blast who were keeping things in the game, and mocking their gameplay and everything they say with the shitty react cam at the top right with no talented editing. In the hit piece he made on me, he basically had no good arguments and just hit me with a bunch of ironic, like, deflection arguments when I was attacking his content. He couldn't really defend his own content. He just said no you. He really likes doing
Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny how River does not have any way of proving that. Wow, he can just claim what he wants. And I am 100% sure that River legitimately sees it like that. That's not what happened. I was there, you guys know it. Got a whole video showing exactly how River got absolutely destroyed in that debate. Because he's an idiot that has no actual points.
this, by the way. Deflecting is basically his main argument in every single type of call-out video he makes. It's pretty much all his little pea-brain can think of when someone actually corners him with an argument. He talked about how I mentioned that he was drama farming and punching down in every one of his videos. But then instead of defending that, he said, but what about this random troll video where you were holding people in corners? Isn't that punching down? Which is funny because not only is it not putting these people on blast, not only is it one video of mine when he's made hundreds and the first DBD video I ever made, not only am I not pandering or acting superior, like this video is just clearly stupid and I'm obviously in the wrong, you're just trying to get a rise.
Okay, doesn't matter if he's aware that he's being a dipshit. If he's still being an asshole. Like, yeah, I know I'm being an asshole, so that makes it okay. That's not how that works. His whole thing against Spooks is how he's punching down and putting people on blast. And then he's trying to say that his Trapper video is fine because it's stupid. When the entire video isn't even him just punching down or whatever, right? He's straight up harassing these people. Who, by the way, did nothing to him. Which is his whole issue with Spooks. See, that's the thing. The issue with River is his blatant hypocrisy. Rules for thee, not for me. I can harass people and I can be a shithead, but you cannot. In that video of his Trapper game, he is straight up making fun of these people. No in-game about it. But no, Spooks can't cover people because he's putting them on blast. But it's fine for that Trapper video because, oh, it's just stupid. He's so delusional. He's such an idiot. He will do everything in his power to convince himself that he is in the right, even when he is clearly doing the exact same shit, or worse, that he complains about others doing. Dude, River is such a moron. He's so dumb. It's actually hurting my brain to listen to this dribble.
I'm not trying to push any type of agenda or act superior like he does. I'm not trying to pretend I'm doing something good for the community. The video is just dumb. It just isn't comparable in the slightest, yet it's like all he could think of during...
No, it's comparable. It is comparable. Because River's whole issue with Spooks is that he makes content that puts people on blast. That's exactly what the Trapper video does. And when he gets called out on that, he tries to move the goalpost to, well, Spooks feels superior for it. Which he himself, by the way, in his debate with Spooks, said is fine. River has straight up admitted that if you put effort or whatever into whatever you're doing, it is okay to be pretentious. So it's not even a point. River just straight up is a complete hypocrite with no actual real excuses, no valid reason. Oh, well, Spooks, you know, you're putting people on blast and I don't like that. It's stupid and it's dumb. Stop doing that. Didn't you do the same with your Trapper video? Well, yeah, but, I mean, I'm not a pretentious asshole about it, you know? I don't act like I'm better than people. Aren't you doing that with your editing? Yeah, actually, you know what? I am. Because I am better than them. You know, my editing is the best, and I'm better than everyone else in the community when it comes to editing. So, of course I shit on other people. Well, what, so it's okay for you to be pretentious? Well, you know, I guess when you put it like that, yeah, it is. So then it's okay for me to be pretentious when I act, you know, quote-unquote, better than other people, right? Well, you know what? Yeah. By the way, that is a direct quote, pretty much, from the debate. That is a literal exchange that happened. I am not hyperbolizing, I'm not exaggerating. That is a actual sequence of dialogue that happened during the debate. River is a... He's just so stupid. And he doesn't even see it.
In the entire video. It's a troll video where I'm not cutting out important context. It's mainly focused on the game and not their behavior. I'm not painting people as villains or telling people to attack them. I'm not portraying people as villains or telling people to attack them. Yeah, but you're outright calling the one guy fat, making fun of the one girl saying she does OnlyFans or whatever, like, completely unprovoked. But no. It's okay because you're just trolling and you're not telling anyone to attack them. Kind of like how Spooks never told anyone to attack anyone he covers. Like, do you not understand that by showing these people who you are harassing, you are openly endorsing their harassment? Doesn't matter if you directly say it or not. By your own logic, you are endorsing it. Just like you say Spooks has people attack others. Only, Spooks actually censors people and doesn't attack people minding their own business. You're such a hypocrite. You're such a monumental, idiotic, dumb-ass hypocrite. How does he not see it? What mental gymnastics go through this idiot's brain to justify his behavior like this while calling on other people for doing lesser things? What level of narcissism has he unlocked? making fun of them, which actually paints me as the villain, which I'm fine with. Reminder, he got so butthurt over a video calling him out for 30 seconds, and even went to other parts of the video where I was showing him as background footage, just trying to find any part where I mention him at all. It's insanely pathetic, but I guess the rent is due because crushing people is his full-time job. This is mathematically not an instigation from my side, but I still enjoyed it.
What does he mean, mathematically not an instigation? Because you're smaller? Because you didn't cover him for more than 30 seconds? Here's the thing, man. If you come after people unprovoked, that is an instigation. And it does not matter the severity or the duration. You attacked other people's content, so they're gonna attack you back. That is how it works. There is no underdog. There is no punching down. There is no Queen of England. You attack Spooks, he struck back. If you don't want the smoke, don't start the fight.
And I thought it was just funny that I pissed off this guy this much in like my third video in the community, and I hadn't even been making stuff for like a month yet. In our debate, he claimed he had no issues with my video besides calling him out, when he also dedicated part of his video to showing 30-second clips of my video in their entirety with no editing, and then said this.
This video is just him ripping the VODs from these streamers and then sprinkling in little edgy memes that only 12-year-olds would find funny.
Which is so ironic because I actually edited that video and added stuff. And it's still my worst video by far. He even went to other videos I made like years ago because he realized how brief my callout actually was and how little there was to actually analyze. But
that's not why he went into the other videos. He went into the other videos to prove the point that River will use whatever he can to get his own clout, because he's criticizing other people for just going in it for the clout. This video right here that is on screen is proof of that, by the way. This video is about how cancel culture is bad. And as you can see, the thumbnail has Dr. Disrespect on it. Now, you would think, with the thumbnail having Dr. D on it, Dr. Diddles himself, we would actually have a significant portion about Dr. Doolittle. He is in the video for 20 seconds. Dr. Disrespect is in this video for 20 seconds. And he's giving Spook shit about making videos about 30-second clips. Sure, man.
But he had to get it over the 8-minute mark and just mocked them without making any good arguments because...
Case in point. Oh, Spooks has to make 8-minute videos to get his ad revenue, while he's sitting here using people's likeness in his thumbnails just to get clicks, even though they barely appear in the video. He is a complete hypocrite. And a really stupid one at that. The funniest thing is, River's okay with people reacting to this shit if it's positive, like Turn J. But if it's negative, oh, you're a stalker, you're obsessed. Like, shut up, man.
Because logic is hard. I hate Blight, not as a survivor in terms of going against him, but as a killer main, because of what he represents.
Wow, man, that's so deep. You're so cool and different.
He went back to this video from years ago that I made about cancel culture, which obviously would piss him off because his entire channel is built around it, and he framed it as I was defending Dr. Disrespect because he knew his brain-dead fans would have a neuron activation upon...
It comes off as him defending him because the video is about cancel culture being bad. And then he's telling people to think for themselves while showing the tweet of Dr. Disrespect and admitting to what he was accused of. The content in which he portrays in that video makes it come off as though he's defending it. And I'm not saying that he is, but that is how it comes off.
hearing something like that. It's just blatant slander and misrepresenting what I actually said, but he doesn't care. Anything to give the people more irrelevant reasons to hate the boogeyman of the video. And look, I knew these videos were bound to piss people off. I'm not playing the victim by saying I didn't expect anyone to respond. It's just funny though, I've been here for like a month and many of his fans and group thinkers have made multiple emotional hit pieces on me punching down and failing to actually make good points. Because have made multiple emotional hit pieces.
Alright, so, first of all, nothing about my 2 videos with him were emotional at all. He's calling them emotional hit pieces in an attempt to downplay the things that I say. Because he, I think deep down knows. And he's so dumb. I'm sure some of you guys have actually seen my videos on him. And you know that they weren't emotional. That I went through, I did my due diligence, and I dismantled whatever I could. But he's trying to frame it as that so he can downplay my videos. And then he's trying to say when I told him I was 32 and unemployed, that I'm being dead serious when I say that. The guy just will take anything you say at face value if it supports his view of value. It's so funny. Yeah, he constantly says I have autism and I'm struggling on whatever. And then I told him I'm 32 and unemployed. And I knew. Please set down, let's just little bait right on the hook for him. And he took it. Because the rest of the entire talk pretty much centered around how I'm 32 and unemployed. That's all he did. Because he's so desperate for a point to make that if he can attack you on literally anything, he'll go for that. Because he is the one with no actual arguments and no actual points. As proven in this video, which so far has been 26 minutes of him saying absolutely nothing of value.
On me punching down and failing to actually make good points. Because the DBD community is not used to being offended or challenged. They're used to watch.
Yeah, nobody is offended at his content. Like, it's this weird emotional framing device that he keeps using to say that people are offended at what he does because they don't like it. People do not like your content. They do not vibe with your content because you are blatantly lying and misrepresenting people. The reason nobody fucks with his content is because it's bad. Because he blatantly lies and misrepresents things, as he has done throughout this entire video. It's not because we're offended, it's not because we hate him, it's not because we're upset, it's because he is an idiot. He even has ways to bring up good points, like the Scott Jun thing. His main issue with Scott is that he makes bad content, whatever. Why not actually go into the drama with True? There's like 3 documentaries on that. Attack from that angle, not the content. Because you will never win that. That is how stupid he is.
Watching their vault speech shit, and they hate me because I speak the truth. I wouldn't have such an ego over this if these...
He actually thinks that he speaks the truth. I don't know if you caught that banner, but he's comparing himself to like Jesus or something. Like, nobody hates him because he speaks the truth, or speaks his mind. I don't even think we say hate, but we dislike him because he spouts nonsense with no actual evidence to back it up. And he has to cope with this by saying, well, I'm telling the truth, and people hate me because I don't cater to them. Nope.
Losers were actually able to prove me wrong, but that's an argument for another day. In the video...
Yeah. He will not engage with the people telling him he's wrong. He will only say, well, they can't prove me wrong, so they didn't prove me wrong. That's his entire debate style, by the way. Okay, how did you make a good point? What's your good point? Why did you make a good point? You're not proving me wrong, because you didn't make a good point. And he can never say how you didn't, even when you tell him how.
Video on me, he unironically said, if you don't like the content, don't watch it, lol.
Or Scott Jund, he uploads discussion videos. He doesn't like that he uploads discussion videos. He says it's boring and lazy. Who cares? You don't like their content, don't watch it. Why are you sitting here fucking bitching about it and whining like a little baby?
Which is hilarious coming from him because that's his entire channel. Going after people who aren't hurting anyone and staying in their own lane. And making videos on them where if you don't like them, just don't watch them, lol. I've always hated this argument. It's like telling a film reviewer that if they don't like the movie they're making a review on, then they just shouldn't watch it. Like, stop being so negative, bro. Like, it's such a bad point because people like talking about bad things. Especially when they, like me, feel there's room for improvement. And the content of the community could be so much better. But anyways, our story didn't end there. After a bit of back and forth, he eventually challenged me to a debate, as I expected. And it was, we kind of just didn't really get anywhere with it. It was the most whataboutism talking in circles I've ever seen, but unlike a lot of his contemporaries, he did actually make some good points. As someone who argues with people online a lot and just enjoys it and nearly always wins, it's been a while since I've actually had someone give me a challenge like this.
Oh, he cannot help but cope. Spooks was a challenge, it was 50-50. I always did my arguments, but Spooks was so good. I guarantee you this guy does not win arguments. He calls the other guy an idiot, refuses to engage with our points, and says, oh, I won. I'm the winner. Without actually having an argument. As I've said, whole video, 26 minutes, going through every single argument he made with Spooks and how he lost. And there are points where he straight up lost. Like, he knows that he lost, so he has to use his ego. He has to protect it by saying, well, you know, Spooks is actually good, but it was 50-50, and, you know, I didn't even prepare really, so, yeah. It's just pure cope. That's it. This guy has not won a single argument in his life, I have to imagine. And no, talking over people and denying their points is not winning an argument.
I legitimately felt cornered at times, but I realized upon rewatching the debate what he was actually doing. Everything I brought up, every good point I would make towards his content or person, he would just deflect and say, but what...
He had no good points. Just gonna give you a little spoiler alert. He had no good points. He is straight up lying here.
About you, without actually addressing the point. Like, what are you not getting?
The point of me bringing everything up in that video was because it directly relates to your own criticisms. I was showing that you are criticizing yourself.
So you think that's
It's not about my problem with your content, it's about your problem with your content. What don't you understand, dude?
Your problem with... And some of them are valid, but the point still stands that the standards are far higher for him as someone who acts holier than thou and claims to be making a change.
So, after this whole debate with Spooks, or not once did Spooks say he's holier than thou, and not once did I ever prove it, he is still running with this narrative that Spooks acts holier than thou. There's gotta be some kind of a name for whatever level of stupidity he's on.
And I'm just some random dude with no impact on the community who just started making content a month ago. This is why I believed as a non-black and white thinker that this went kind of 50-50.
I'm a non-black and white thinker, but anyone that says anything that goes against my points is automatically wrong. I'm a free thinker and you should be too, but if you disagree with me, you're wrong. No, I won't explain why. You're just wrong. His actual thought process, by the way.
I could just be disingenuous and say, oh yeah, I cooked him, bro, like a lot of his emotional fans are saying, but I'd like to analyze both sides and look at the bigger picture. In the end, we didn't really get anywhere and nothing has changed. I felt like no one really won. Then again, it wouldn't have mattered because if he literally said nothing with a massive power imbalance, the winner was already decided from the get-go despite—
Hey, Marco, if River had actually had anything valuable to say, he could have reached his audience. He could have come across as actually reasonable, and people watching the video would actually sympathize. But nope, he had nothing to say because he's an idiot. But, oh, my power imbalance.
Despite no good arguments to prove it. Let me repeat, he could have said—
Also, the reason that it went nowhere is because River refused to budge on anything. He just kept repeating himself and being an idiot.
Literally nothing, and people would still be saying, he destroyed you, bro! So this is why I don't take these zombies very seriously. I will admit that I did come into the debate fairly unprepared and didn't take it very seriously, while Spook and Jukes on the other hand had like a notepad of points on his desktop and a court file of classified evidence and information, and I was just there to f*** around because I thought it was hilarious like 3—
Well, I came in without any evidence and unprepared because I didn't know that he needed that for a debate. And Spooks had a whole court case full of evidence and documents to prove his points. So, you know, really, he's a loser for actually preparing for the debate that I challenged him to. Or that he challenged me to. I don't actually remember how it went. Point is, you cannot try to go after someone for having evidence. You knew there was a debate. You had time to prepare. It is not a side against Spooks to actually do his due diligence. You got shit on. You're coping. Please stop.
3 weeks in, I was getting this. It's hysterical how much a tiny jab like this can hurt someone's ego when they aren't used to constructive criticism. During the debate, when I realized all he was going to do was deflect the whole time, I just kind of gave up trying to get anywhere, because it was boring me to tears. I nearly got a blackout on my bingo card, though, so that was—
my bingo card. He's so proud of his bingo card. Like, when has Spooks ever said the ick or incel?
cool. Later, I made a poll on my community tab just to see what the common consensus was for the debate. Not to prove that I won, because I never, ever said that I won it. And initially for the first day, the 50-50 was by far the most voted answer. It shows that my up-and-coming community are already less disingenuous and more free-thinking than most, because I believe hand on heart that most DBD creators
My community voted for what I wanted them to vote for. But they're free thinkers, though. They did exactly what I wanted, but they're free thinkers. Yeah, sure.
Fans would have just voted for them without coming to their own conclusion. This was a poll of mostly my fans, and they voted 50-50, which is kind of what I believe too. I don't think I won. It stayed at 50-50 until Spookajukes uploaded the debate on his channel, sending all of his fans to mass dislike and mass vote for him on the poll, without keeping the power balance in mind, by the way. And then he just said, like, lol, you lost. Like, I cannot believe his ego was hurt this badly. Of course he won the poll after making the debate video on me. I think mathematically 160,000 is a bigger number than around 3,000, but with how rabid and degenerate his fanbase are, they're obviously gonna vote for him. He's basically patting himself on the back here and giving himself an award with no self-awareness of the 1v100, and having everyone on his side already because he's a much bigger creator. Like, of course they're gonna vote for him, especially after he makes a video.
Ugh. Cope. 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 Cope.
May not seem like much, but honestly, I feel like this really shows what kind of a person he is. He loves the fact that he's built up this community of yes men. He loves that no matter what he does or says, they'll agree with him. I feel like deep in his heart, he loves the harassment that the people he makes these videos on provably get, but I shouldn't paint him like that because—
Oh, he keeps saying all this shit with no evidence. 10 out of 10.
he can just plausibly deny it like he does with everything, despite his videos provably not impacting anyone in a positive way or changing anyone's mind. Again, he could have said literally nothing in that debate, but because he's spooking jukes, people still would have said that I lost, and I fully believe that because of—
People say you lost because you lost. They even said you lost to me in our debate. I'm way smaller than you at 5k. Well, 4.9. Oh, sorry. No, because only his DBD subs count. So, shit. Guess I win by default too. Dang it.
The intrinsic parasocial bias. And like, trust me, I'm used to getting hate on my videos, even before DBD, because it's the nature of my videos being unfiltered and having opinions in them that will—
It's the nature of your videos being nothing but negative slop that have no actual point. You're just hating on people because they're more successful than you are. That's it.
Will make people angry despite them flopping around and failing to make good counterpoints. But the random upload I made of the Spook and Jukes debate that I got from my own stream is the worst I have ever seen. If you want to know what his fanbase is actually like and how much they eat people alive for disagreeing with their god, just look at the comments on this video. It is so unbelievable. This is legitimately just dumb internet beef where he has every advantage possible in the situation, and all I did was speak my mind, and nearly no one had a good argument against me.
Cope. The more you say it, the more it's true, obviously, but no. River spoke his mind, but he's an idiot. That is all. That is why nobody likes this shit.
I didn't plan to make a video like this, but the debate really showed me what kind of a person he is. Regardless of who won or not, from the get-go he was supposed to win, we all know that. I've been making content for a month, and he's been making content for 6 years while having an infinitely bigger fan base and dozens of debates under his belt. His entire personality in the community is debating people beneath him. So—
Okay, if Spooks was meant to win, why did you debate at all? What does it serve for you? His argument, obviously, the go-to is, well, you know, it's good for me because I get clout. Okay, so then you're arguing with him just for clout? That's it? Isn't that counterintuitive for you? Because you're just speaking your mind and you're this open guy that, you know, doesn't tell lies and just speaks his mind and tells the truth, and that's why you're doing it. But then you're straight up admitting that you want to get clout. Because what other reason would you have for debating someone who was always supposed to win? And if you're gonna go into something against someone with a lot of experience, why would you not take the time to prepare? You know he's gonna prepare. Why wouldn't you? So you can fall back on the excuse of, well, I didn't take it serious. I didn't prep. He was always gonna win. So there's no point. It's pathetic. He still cannot just accept that he lost.
He's had way more practice than me. I'll have the debate linked in the description if you haven't watched it, but it's honestly incredibly nothing. I haven't heard a single good point from even his most diehard defenders as to how I lost it. In his video, he tried every dirty, underhanded trick in the book, even pulling up random tweets of a Twitter account with my name on it and a jumbled spam tag saying some blatantly offensive things. This is not a gotcha in the same way that showing a video of me holding people in corners is not a gotcha, because both examples are just—
That video was more of him holding people in corners. By the way, holding people in corners, already pretty bad. Don't do that. You're ruining someone's game for no reason. But that video was also him outright insulting and laughing at these people for no reason. He did nothing. But remember, think about what people are going through before you make a video on them. He's straight up lying here.
Blatantly offensive and stupid, and for lack of a better term, rage bait. A gotcha is when you find someone who's doing something you don't want them to find, like texting with a minor on Discord or whatever, but this isn't that. But regardless of the
A gotcha is when you find somebody doing something that they're arguing against, or that runs counter to their whole platform, or that they're doing something that they shouldn't be doing. So yeah, all that falls into a gotcha. River was caught doing the very thing that he argued against. It's valid to bring that up. Completely valid. If you're doing some shit that you argue against, it's gonna get brought up. It's not invalid. Like if Spooks is out here talking shit at people, yelling slurs, you know damn well River would have brought that up. Why? Because Spooks preaches against that kind of thing. He says, don't do it. It's bad. Thing is, unlike River, Spooks actually practices when he preaches. Meanwhile, River says, oh, Spooks, don't harass people, don't put them on blast. And then he goes and he makes videos where he does exactly that.
context, it's just another thing he can show to his audience, and he knows what it paints. He doesn't care that this is racist or whatever, he just wants to paint it. He loves doing this. The story behind this account is that it actually was mine back in like 2020 in GD when I got banned, and I recently just gave it back to a friend of mine and said do whatever the you want with it, because it's just harmless and stupid. It wasn't me saying this, but even if it was, it's not a gotcha, because it's the most blatant, stupid, offensive garbage ever, and if you take it seriously, then I think you belong to his community. It's also incredibly ironic coming from him and his butt buddies because of all the shit they've said in the past, but I don't care about words. I just think it's funny they're using this as a smoking gun when they don't have an argument, because
Alright, there's a big difference between saying the N-word to be, haha, I'm offensive, lol, look at me, and directly quoting the person that said it to you.
it's so nothing. So what else did he have against me in our debate? Well, he told me to turn on my webcam fairly early because I made fun of some dude for being fat or something. I don't have a webcam, but if I did, what would have happened? Would he have mocked me if I wasn't conventionally attractive? Like, what kind of an argument even is this?
Would you mind turning on the webcam for us here today?
I don't have a webcam. I have a video, but there's other videos.
Can we get a look at you?
That show my face.
In 2025, you don't have a webcam.
Yeah, I'm not a fucking streamer like you. Like I don't know.
Oh.
I made a video called "Why I Quit Geometry Dash." Go to the last little bit of that video. It's me holding a picture of my cat. That is me. I am just an average fucking slightly overweight white guy, fucking racist gamer stereotype. Like there is nothing special about me at all.
Why did you say racist gamer stereotype?
I'm trying to fit on your agenda here. He's supposed to be the justice warrior. He's supposed to be the guy who's so far above it all. He's supposed to be the one who looks down on people who mock others for their appearance. And yet here he's trying to make me turn on my webcam? It's just such a weird contradiction. I even offered to
There's nothing contradictory about Spooks asking him to turn on his webcam when River has been making fun of people's appearances. If you make fun of someone's appearance, you gotta be willing to show yours. Otherwise, what's the point?
join the debate briefly on Discord Mobile, because I have shown my face briefly in the past on the channel, but he just said no to that, so I don't even know what he was getting at. Besides that, I have very little to add. All he did was just deflect the entire time. That was it. It's like all he could think of, and we got nowhere, so watch the debate for yourself if
Yeah, kind of like how all River can think of is to say, well, he deflected, so he didn't win the argument, even though that's not at all what happened.
you want to come to your own conclusions, unlike his fans. Besides, that's another thing him and his fans brought up was me stuttering during the debate a lot, which is funny because, and I'm not going to use this as an excuse, I do have diagnosed anxiety and depression that I'm medicated for.
Okay, the only reason people bring up his stuttering is because he straight up makes fun of other people's shit. Nobody actually cares that he stutters. But because he is okay with bringing up other people's shit like he has done to me, he gets attacked for it. Fuck around and find out. Don't do that. It won't happen.
Again, think it's a funny look for someone who claims to be so inclusive to make fun of me for stuttering. It was like the same with Pro Vengeance, where his fanbase made fun of his voice when he has a rare condition that makes his voice sound like that. I could easily just pull out the ableist card if I wanted to, but I'm not going to stoop to his level because I think the whole thing is just silly.
No. No. River is not going to sit there and defend Pro Vengeance for having a rare voice condition while he's mocking my muscle tension dysphonia, saying, well, Zanryu just has an autistic spur condition and that's why he's like that. One or the other, buddy. One or the other. Why does Pro get a pass, but I don't? Maybe River can find time to explain that after he pulls Pro's cock out of his mouth, who knows?
For someone whose argument is most of the time just deflecting and saying people are hypocrites, he sure doesn't do a lot of self-reflecting and completely lacks any form of self-awareness. But anyways, yeah, that's essentially
the absolute irony of Pro saying somebody doesn't do any self-reflecting and has no self-awareness. Holy shit. That's crazy.
Extent of the interaction I've had with him. The only conclusion he wanted me to come to from our debate is that our content is more similar than I think, which is funny considering how mass-produced his slop is and how little work or editing he actually puts in, along with all the punching down on much smaller creators. He compares this to me calling out bigger creators, like much bigger creators, for their behavior and content, which is just not a good point at all, despite him standing by it. I wouldn't have been so confident and had such an ego in this video if anyone could have provided an actual good argument, but it's just
every single thing he said has been verifiably false or bad framing. He has said absolutely nothing in this video that was worth anything at all. Not a single thing. He really genuinely thinks this video is quality. He thinks he made good points. He's so confident that he admits to having an ego about it. But I've got bad news. This entire video is hot dog shit. It's garbage. Nothing he says has been proven at all. It is astonishing that he actually thought this was worth making. This is his big hit piece on spooks. This is his big, huge spooks video to take down the king. Really? This is all he had? This is it. You know, I gotta say, I'm really not impressed. He's failed to impress me on this one. Like, this is a whole new level of narcissism.
It's the same emotional copy-pasted bullshit and strawman arguments. His fans coming to my comment section and even finding my Steam profile to spam death threats is exactly what I wanted to prove my point. It doesn't bother me because I end up just feeling bad for these subhumans, but it sure does blow his entire morality thing right up in his face. No one, not even him, has given me a good counter-argument towards his content.
Hey, you know what? The more you say it, the more it's true. Just keep saying that nobody ever has ever been able to challenge the great RiverCiver. Nobody in this world is capable of defeating RiverCiver on any of his points. Nobody in the world has anything valuable to say. Only RiverCiver. It's all him. He's the only one. That's it. The more he says it, the truer it gets. Everyone bow down to RiverCiver, the man with 1,000,000 points that nobody can ever defeat. Like, how can he be this competent? Not competent. How can he be this confident in his own idiocy? It's astonishing. It's boggling my mind.
Effects of it or the debate, and I've tried and looked, trust me. He is definitely going to see this and prove my point by doing the exact same song and dance he's done before whenever he gets legitimate criticism, which is just to snip out the good parts and just resort to deflecting or outright mocking because he knows he doesn't have to have a good argument with this many drones.
He doesn't understand the concept of cutting dead air and are moving irrelevant bullshit. I had to cut so much shit from the debate with between him and Spooks when I covered it, but I did not cut out anything relevant. This guy really got shit on. This guy really got shit on and wants to make excuses. That's it. This whole thing is a giant cope session to validate his ego.
On his side. Some envy these types who are able to support an AFK stay-at-home wife and 2 kids off drama content, but I honestly just feel kind of bad for how much time he has to spend online fishing for miserable controversies. It's not healthy to see someone like me who's just getting started and immediately punch down with an entire video barely over 8 minutes with no good point.
Yeah, the guy spending 40 hours a week, which is, you know, just the amount of time of a full-time job, is terminally online. Even though it lets him spend time with his family. He's living in comfort, getting to do shit that many people dream of. But no, he's terminally online and his life sucks. Absolutely. Damn, he is suffering.
Points because your ego is hurt over an incredibly brief call out. It's just not a good look. I would actually respect Spooks more as a person if he actually owned up to, despite his efforts of keeping the identities private, he would at least recognize and acknowledge the harassment that people get shortly after he makes these videos on their words. He needs to acknowledge this is a direct result of his videos. I honestly would respect him more if he just owned the fact that he kills people and farms drama to
Oh, I am so sick of this. Like, it is not Spooks' fault for covering them. People shouldn't harass them, but he takes every precaution to not let that happen. However, whatever happens is the fault of the people doing it and the people who commit the actions that make people want to lash out. If they did not act like assholes, nobody would cover them. If nobody covered them, they don't get harassed. They are also complicit in their own bad behavior. Don't act like an asshole. Nobody will talk about you. That's it. The comments on this video were straight up lying by saying Rapid was scared to join the debate after we won, even though River said he's not. Yeah, I was there. Rapid was literally fiending to get in, and they would not let him.
Pay that rent, instead of always playing holier than thou and being pretentious with the plausible deniability. He should just admit that he loves drama. Why do you think he's so eager to debate people in the live stream and just to make fun of them instead of making good points?
Okay. Here's the thing. In that debate, Smokes did not make fun of him, and he actually had good points. Watch the video to find out. River is straight up lying here, as he has been doing this entire video. Because he knows deep down, he has nothing to say. This whole thing has been one giant lie. One horrible attempt at character assassination. I don't think I've ever seen Spooks just outright go after people, like, in debates. At the very least, not before they go after him. Because in the pro-vengeance debate, Pro literally 5 minutes in goes, well, you have no empathy for your fellow human, you stupid bitch, or whatever it was. You soft bitch. Yeah, Spooks is the one that's going after people. Spooks is the one that makes fun of people in debates, not pro-vengeance, who 5 minutes in says, you lack a basic human empathy, you soft bitch. No, it's Spooks though. Yep, like this whole thing is so dumb. River really thinks this is quality content when he's just lying.
At this point, he should honestly just acknowledge what he is. Anyways, I wanted to keep this video from being just about my interactions with him and look at the bigger picture. Although I think it was important for the third section to be as long as it was, to show what being punched down by him looks like in real time and to get a look of the effects of it, and what he actually does to people on a regular basis. As well as clear my name a bit, although it won't matter when these power-hungry losers can just slander me to death. Anyways, I'm sure this isn't
yeah. Nothing you say matters when power-hungry losers slander you to death. Kinda like how you're trying to slander Spooks. This whole thing is genuinely slander, because not a single thing he said was true. Not a single point he had against Spooks was valid. It's insane that he thinks this is quality.
over since he will see this video, but I'm here to stay. Like I said, you guys cannot scare me off with your underhanded tactics, despite all of these big emotional content creators throwing all sorts of shit at me and not one of them has made a good point.
Nobody makes a good point against me. I'm RiverCiver. I'm the best ever. I can win every argument, all the time, every time, because nobody makes a good point. You're all just a bunch of bro-bright joins that don't think for yourselves, and all you do is deflect and use plausible deniability. But not me. I would never do that. I'm RiverCiver, and I'm the best at debating, and all my points are valid, and I have the best editing in the world, and my content is totally not slop and garbage and slander and stupid. And I'm also really smart, and you're really dumb. Like, shut up, man. You took fucking 2 weeks to make this absolute pile of dog shit, where you said nothing of value, nothing true, and had literally no evidence backing your claim, and at multiple points, you were putting up shit that either directly contradicted what you were saying, or had nothing to do with it. How in your mind is this a video worth making? How do you look at this and go, yeah, you know what? I'm proud of this. I'm gonna put the old RiverCiver stamp of approval on this video. It's mind-boggling. If I uploaded something like this, I would be so embarrassed. I would genuinely be embarrassed. I would not be able to upload this in good conscience. Because it is demonstrably false. Every single thing he said is demonstrably false. The only maybe point he has is Spooks possibly being encouraging of people harassing. But even that falls flat because Spooks has no control over what people do with the content of his video. He uploads, after that, it's on the internet, people are going to do what they do. You cannot stop that. Doesn't matter how many precautions you take. Please stop using sound alerts. He's such an idiot.
All of this just proves how miserable the community truly is. People think the community is toxic because of stuff like camping and tunneling, when the witch hunting and punching down content is more common here than ever. What other communities is it normalized to make hit pieces like this as your main form of content? It's not calling people out, it's not an analysis of behavior, it's just sad. This video won't be a wake-up call because despite the fact that he will 100% watch it and maybe even react on his much bigger channel, while cutting out the important context. I mean, if he reacted with Shore talking over him, he'll definitely react to this. But whenever he receives constructive criticism, he just kind of gets whiny and butthurt and doesn't really know what to do. His only argument is just deflecting. I saw this in real time. When he watches this video, he's gonna say something like, well, you call out bad content. How is that different from me witch hunting people? Or you say I paint people in a bad light, but you're painting me in a bad light. It's just all deflection and know you arguments every single time, and it's all he can think of, and I've addressed and debunked them numerous times. This will not be a wake-up call for him or anyone who makes similar content, and he'll continue his pollution. Okay, anyways, that was quite the video. Next time we'll do something much more low-key and laid back, and something that should hopefully not cause any drama to this magnitude. I'm excited to see what the comments will look like on this video. It'll be likely full of spooks droids saying the same copy-pasted bullshit with no coherent argument, but that's the type of engagement YouTube loves, so keep it coming. Well, anyways, that's about it for this video. I have never made something this long before, my voice is dead. We'll see where the shitstorm takes me from here, but it'll be a fun ride regardless. Thanks for sticking around until the end, and think for yourself, please. As difficult as that is, because I get a big ego when I'm right. Anyways...
Oh my god. I cannot believe I sat through this hot pile of garbage. This was the most nothing video I've ever watched. He's so stupid and he doesn't even see it. In the editing he did, the one good thing was like that image of spooks coming up with the text and the clouds and shit. Like even that's easy to do. Like, this is his editing, this is his pinnacle of editing. Okay. Wow, you're so good. Sure, man. Guys, thank you so much for sitting through this absolute heap of shit with me, keeping me company, having a good old time, watching this bumbling moron make absolutely no sense as he lies and slanders and does whatever he can to soothe his own bruised ego at being exposed for being a complete and utter hypocritical idiot. If you did enjoy this video, you better sub, and you better like it. And you better follow me on twitch.tv/MrFantastic, where you can catch games of Dead by Daylight live. Bye-bye. This by far is the best comment. Rapid Main was too scared to join our debate that we won. Too scared. Nah, y'all wouldn't let him join. River said if he joins, he would eject them both. Quit lying. If Rapid could prove to me that he'll do more than be obnoxious and yell, bounce on it, over and over, I would have considered letting him join. Okay, so, then clearly, Rapid Main was not too scared to join, and your own mod just confirmed that from under the table. Why is Shore lying? Why is this whole video nothing but a bunch of fucking sad losers lying about spooks because they're jealous of his success? It's so sad.